Starting this project, it's one of these workbenches, Harbor Freight workbench. It seems pretty straightforward. Item 60723. But it takes it, you got to have a clear work area to work in. I mean, make sure you got everything, got an open space that's cleared off. With me, I don't have a garage, so I just work out in my backyard here. And then I have this little stool I can sit on. And so what I did is I just put all the parts out, and they're in numerical order, so I kind of laid them out to try to keep it organized. So you just take it one step at a time. And got a trash receptacle there, and actually got one of these too. It's a screw gun. I think this was like, I don't know, it's like $5 at Walmart. I think I got that. It comes with these, comes with the bits on it. So that's what I'm doing today. I finished this project today because it might rain, and I don't have a garage I can work in, and it's too much clutter on that porch, so I can't work on that porch. So here's my potato. My cat's been in here. Got some potatoes growing. I took out. I need to put them in a cool, dry place. Storage. It's been a really rough year this year. I didn't get any cherries this year, and they got real cold and wet when the blooms were out. So then it's been hot. So I've been having to water everything all the time. And hot and dry. And there's been all these, now that I'm filming, the planes go by and the cars come by, so sorry about the background noise. This is another cherry tree. But I've been having this this problem with ants. So my cousin told me about the sticky tape you buy, and you put it around the base of the tree, and it keeps the ants from crawling up, or it stops them from crawling up. So I'm going to try to use some of that next year. And this, I got this on a trickle. Being not too, grapes are looking okay. It's just been so dry. You know, I've had to water everything, and I'm using my water off my tap water a lot. So I know it's gonna cost me a few dollars more. Let me show you what I've done with my pond, which is this stock tank, which is, normally they sell these to ranchers, livestock, but I use the existing pit that was already in place with the liner that's over there. So I took the liner out that was this, and I'm using it as a cover my firewood with, because the neighbor wanted the 2 trees chopped down there because they were I guess he didn't like the pine needles were falling on his fence, so he wanted those trees, 2 big trees cut down. So I got some of the firewood from that. And honestly, I got more firewood than I need, because what happens is we'll get really cold here in this part of Spanaway, this part of Washington State. When it gets really cold, then the air is still, and they put a burn ban out. So I have all this firewood and I can't burn it because my wood stove is not certified, so it's not there's 3 stages of burn. There's stage 1 and stage 2, stage 3. And stage 3 is when nobody can burn. Stage 2 is when you can burn, but you need a certified wood stove. 1 is if anybody can burn. In the part of the county I live in. I kind of live in a semi-rural area. I don't really live in town. And here's what I'm doing this. What am I going to go with this? Oh, that was there on those panels. This little pump here, because what happened, I actually had to replace those Harbor Freight pumps with this, because what happened with the Harbor Freight pumps is they got water inside of them and they burned out. I mean, they worked really well for a while. I mean, I probably got like 4 or 5 months of continuous everyday usage out of them, and then they filled with water and they burned out. So what I have here is I have this wired up. These wires here, I have them wired up to those 6, 7 panels up there, or 8 panels. You can see them up there. Those are the ones that I don't recommend buying if you're gonna use a solar setup for for serious power usage, don't get those. Get the ones that are aluminum frames, like those, which I got. Those will last a long time. They'll you know, they're crystalline ingots. They've been cut wafers, so they have more life on. They get more life out of them. That's how that's going. So when the sun's out, I get power from those. It's kind of cockamamie because they give you all this length of wire. Each panel has like, you know, 15 feet of wire off of each one, and then they give you a pigtail adapter. So really, if you're going to keep them all together like that, you only need a length of wire just to get it to the pigtail adapter. And then once it's the pigtail adapter, your wire length to the adapter to your charge regulator, that's what you need a length of wire for. And I got quite a bit of length of wire going there to that little pump down there. I got this on Amazon, this little pump. It's been pretty good so far. It gets clogged up, so what I did is I got this hose here at Home Depot. Fitted it on the end. What I did is for a filter, just a jerry-rigged this filter here for just a cat food treat thing. So this has a little pulse poked in it, and it's keeping the little pine needles out, because I get a lot of pine needles. My fish, they think it's time to feed them. They come up to my hand when I move my hand around. Come on, fishies. Thinks I got food for them. Come up to my hand. Looks like I've been trying to train him, and I knock on this like 6 times, and then I put food there. And I let him know it's me, and it's not a raccoon, because the raccoons have been coming around. Anyhow, where's I gonna go here? This is so I'm building this workbench and got everything laid out, got an area cleared out. I'm using these jars to hold the hardware. Bought an electric screwdriver because there's too many screws, too many nuts and bolts and washers. This tree is really not doing too well. I'm gonna water it. Everything's got to be watered every day almost. And there's only a few apples on this tree I've gotten this year. That's been a good year for fruit here. And I didn't fertilize. I pruned the trees really well. I got a couple pairs, not too many. This is drying out. I got to water this a lot. Got sunburnt. So what I got going on in here is I got a new project started also with these. I've got some panels from Solar Boulevard, which is out of California. So my shipping costs was $20 for each panel, and the panels cost $65 each. So roughly they're 100-watt panels, and they're polycrystalline, and they have the encapsulation, so they'll weather. And they got the MC4 connectors on them, and these are pretty nice. I don't know why, but there's 2 of them that are smaller, and the other ones are larger. There's gaps. See that white gap there? But these don't have that white gap on them. Yeah, they were $65 and $20 for shipping. So they're $85 each. And what I'm going to do with those is I'm going to mount those on this, I'm going to wire them to this charge regulator here, which is the same as that one, except this one only goes to 40 amps. And this one is rated for 60 amps. So I got some wire at Home Depot. This is the, what was that at? Because wire is really important to get the right wire for this, especially when you got to the bigger gauge sizes, and you need that for carrying the power over distance. Since it's 12-volt nominal system, it has to have the bigger wire. So that's the drawback of the pulse width modulator, whereas your panels have to be close to the charge regulator, which is really as close as you can get everything together as you can, the better. So keep your battery bank really close to the inverter. Don't have your inverter far away from your battery bank, unless it's a high voltage battery bank. If that battery bank was 48 volts, I could make it further away and use a smaller gauge wire. So ideally you want a higher voltage system, but just for starting out I used a 12 volt non-volt system because it was cheaper and there was more available stuff for 12 volt setups. And this has been really this has been a really good inverter. I mean, I've had this thing on continuously most of the time. It's on all the time, and it's lasted me. And I'm still, I do use this charger at night. This comes on. This is on my house AC. And what this does is it's on this photo cell here that turns it on at night. So this will come on. I think it's off now. It should be off. This will come on when it goes at nighttime. And that cord there is going to this, so this comes on and it keeps those batteries topped off all the time. And this battery here, I'll show you what I did with the battery. See, this is a gel. This is one of the first ones I bought. And the voltage on this should be, that should be your voltage when you're charging. That's the float voltage, bulk and float charge voltages there. We should have a, I probably shouldn't go that high, but I do. It doesn't seem to, well, these are a little higher rated here, these AGM batteries. Could show you that. I want to show you what I did. This is funny. Let me show you that. See that battery? See how it's poofing out? What I did is I had it on like 15.5, 16 volts. Because I was charging a car battery, and I had this connected to a charge controller, and then I had this connected to my other battery, piggybacked on that to charge my car battery, and I left it on a couple days, and it did that. It all poofed out. Because it kept thinking, oh, you don't have enough power, don't have enough power, don't have enough power. So it kept get overcharged this battery at 15 volts, you know, or the car battery was like a vampire battery. It didn't charge and it didn't stop charging. It just kept charging that, and it was on that, so it thought this needed a continuous charge, and it didn't, and it overcharged it. So it did that. It puffed it out. So that was that was like the first battery I bought. I bought that in 2006, and those are 2007 there, that one. The ones on the ends are the oldest, and then these are bought, not a lot in 2007. Most of them I bought in 2007. So it's a 10-year-old battery bank. I'm still using it. It still functions. I mean, if I have to use it at night, then it's good for TV and the lights for all night, but in the middle of winter, I wouldn't even think of in the middle of winter, if it was December or January and it was dark and rainy and cloudy, and then there was an emergency and my house power went out, I had to use this. I would only use it for lights. You know, I couldn't use it to do run anything big, unless the sun came out. So what else is I going? Oh yeah, here's another thing about MC4 I found out, which these are MC4 connectors here, is that get the tool. Don't think you can plug and unplug these into each other without having the special tool for doing that, because you will damage the MC4. You will damage those if you don't have this tool. Then if you don't have this tool, don't use this. Don't use these connectors. But they're cheap. You know, you can get this for, if you're gonna use, if you have, I mean, most of the stuff you buy now has MC4s on it already. So I would highly recommend buying this tool if you can. Otherwise, you're going to be, if you have to disconnect and unconnect those, or disconnect them and disconnect them, you're going to ruin them. That I did a few times, but it was just, I had some of these spare. I had some of these that were just that weren't attached to any wires, and I bought a bunch of males and females, and I just was practicing on those. So I've learned a little bit about using an MC4. And then I've got a new meter, and it's helped me a lot using that. This will tell me the amps, how many amps I'm bringing in here. Now it's too many. Looks like I could do a load, put a load on it and show you. It's terrible. I'm a terribly unorganized person in my shop here. It's really hard to be organized when you got a lot of stuff. What I'll do is I'll just plug this in here. Sorry about the camera movement. Anyways, guys, this AdSense is not really paying me, so so what I'll do is put a load on it, and then it'll gradually come up. It won't be instantaneous. These regulators aren't all of a sudden they will come on, but you really got the voltage really has to stay down for a while before that. So that's how much power solar's coming in right now. This alarm's going off because the voltage is too low for that. It'll come back up. But what it does is it. And this is all this rat's nest. I'm gonna have to fix that. But I have a new setup. So this, when I build this, I'm gonna take a lot of these that I was using. I'm gonna get rid of these. I don't need these. I'll get rid of those 4 of those, and I'll put all 4 of those on this. I'll mount them in a combiner box. Or actually, I don't need. I'll use these because I bought these Blue Seas bus bars, this one and this one here, and I should have a ground too, but these two will replace this. And also I'm going to get more of these because these are pretty nice. You need these, and I'll put them over here. I'll put like 3 of them, one for ground, one for positive, one for negative over on there. And that, you know, I don't know, it was early on. I was kept adding to my system. And here's another issue I have with gauges. You know, these gauges, you have to have a panel to mount them into. That's the way they're made. You just can't hang them from the wall. You can't just easily put them, you can't easily mount these things. These things you have to go and look at the pattern of the size of where the holes are, and the size of the holes, and cut out an opening that'll fit through those, this will fit in through, and mount that, and then you can have your wires on the other side. And that was my intention of getting that Harbor Freight. I'm going to give away my ideas here, but that Harbor Freight Workbench was going to have everything mounted onto it, so then I could get to the other side of it. See how I have the wires going around to the back side. Then I could wire it from behind through this pegboard that comes with the Harbor Freight. So I could mount all that, all my gauges and wiring I could mount to this, and then have it on the other side. Have the wires going in on the other side of that. So anyhow, that's what I've been up to. It's been kind of a hard year for gardening. It's dry and it's been hot, and we had a really cold, wet spring, and anyhow, so that's all I have to say. Signing off.